Rings of Power Season 2 premiere far exceeded my expectations. I mean, it had depth, and I think that they really got Tolkien.
Lucky for you, we're watching episode 2 today, and as always, we aren't just watching. We're going to play along with trivia questions, polls, fun facts, and other mini games that you viewers can join in on while you watch.
And if you're on YouTube, use the links in the description below to open the widget window to have play along activities appear in time with today's show. You can even start a private game, keeping it just between friends.
YouTube viewers, be sure to click subscribe to be notified as we release new play along episodes. You can even play along live with Rings of Power every Thursday.
Okay, if everyone has Rings of Power Season 2 Episode 1 open, I think we can get started. Ready to fly back to Middle-earth?
Absolutely.
Fly, you fools.
Oh my god. Okay, everyone. 3, 2, 1, go. So as usual, with this being a play-along game, we're going to start the game off with a little prediction activity for the whole entire episode. In this episode, we're going to hear a lot of languages, so we're asking you, how many do you think you will hear? Is it 2, 3, 4, or 5? You can make your prediction using the links below to open the widget window and select your answer. You'll even get points if you get the right answer, helping you climb our game leaderboard.
You know, Tolkien was a linguist by trade, and so inventing these languages was, I think, the reason that he wrote Lord of the Rings, not the other way around. So there's a lot, and they're all like super carefully researched. It's kind of crazy if you start to look into the details of it. Like if you knew somebody who was doing this, you'd be worried about them. But instead, he made it look like genius, because I guess it was.
Yeah, I like all of the, not just like coming up with random words, but you also have to like come up with grammar rules. Like you have to come up with like linguistic patterns. That just sounds, I don't even know how you like keep track of all of it for every language.
Yeah, it's crazy, but amazing and wonderful.
True. And as a side note, viewers should know that you can play with just your friends if you want to, in person or using our in-game video chat. When you click Begin Game, an option will appear to play with friends. So just click that button and share the link you get with whoever you want to play with. You can use the links in the description below to get started on that.
Yeah, but just make sure it's not Sauron, because you think he's your friend, and then it turns out that he's not.
Master of Deception.
Yeah, it's very tricksy. Sauron.
I will say the way that she like rolls her R's, Sauron.
Yeah, but this goes back to the linguistic thing. She's Welsh.
There you go. Yeah. Helps to have that mindset to learn different languages. Scary.
Mount Doom. Yeah, I'm glad they supply a map, because it's a little confusing.
Yeah, I don't have the benefit of the Game of Thrones intro.
I can't get over how huge this place is.
Well, you know, they call it a mansion. Those are the dwarf mansions. And with reason. Its massive size comes up in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. But in that time, it's abandoned, and it's referred to as the Mines of Moria. But you already knew that, Trish.
I did. It's like a medieval MILF manor, I think.
Yeah.
Basically. But I mean, do you really? Do you really know what you say you know about Moria? Fans, here's a play-along question to test that out. How long does Gandalf say it takes to walk across all of Moria? Is it 2 hours, 12 hours, 4 days, or a whole week? Use the links below to open the widget window and select your answer. We'll reveal the answer in just a second.
You know, it's so big that you'd think that he would like to fly, you fool, across it. You know, it would make it much easier.
Mm-hmm.
If I were smart, I would have those eagles like on speed dial.
Yeah, it kind of does. They save them all the time. But I love this marketplace. I never really thought about like what would be life inside this underground kingdom.
Yeah.
And apparently, they like to eat mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh, and time's up on the trivia question. If you guessed that it would take 4 days to walk across all of Moria, you'd be correct. It's a huge city, truly.
I wonder how long it would take to walk across New York City.
I think it depends on whether there's a slice of pizza on the other side.
Nice.
I mean, knowing my calculations, it's 35 miles across, like up down. So call it 2 days.
Okay. So Khazad Dum is bigger, I guess.
Well said.
Yeah,
They don't
nice.
have a Ray's, right? They don't have a Joe's. They don't have a Leonardi's.
Yeah, so it's not as good in that sense, but in terms
No.
of bigger. But I mean, that's big.
That's huge.
Is
That
bigger
means the
better?
mountain's big.
Well, they're also deep underground. Though.
Yeah, I guess you got to go through the multiple levels. I remember this from the book.
I'm not surprised.
And maybe they just say 4 hours, 4 days, because you're like sure to get lost.
Mm. Yeah. You need to have a string tied to your ankle so you can keep track of where you've been.
Because you can't drop breadcrumbs because the orcs will eat it.
I'll catch you.
See, and this like earthquake thing, this is exactly what I would be afraid of if I lived underground in a dwarf mansion.
Oh, shoot. Uh-oh.
So the names of these episodes have been super interesting. And so this one, as you'll see in a second, is Where the Stars Are Strange, and refers to a line from the original trilogy of movies where a certain character uses this line to suggest that they walked so far that the constellations in the night sky were just totally different. That's how far it went. It's pretty much a flex.
I mean, that is an amazing flex to have. I'm such a well-traveled person. But fans, we're asking you in this next trivia question to name the major character that said this line in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. If you haven't already, which what are you doing? Use the links below to open the playable version of this game on play.beyondtheair.com.
But people do walk a really long way in that show. It could be a lot of different people. It's a lot of walking. But I'm kind of giving a hint here, but his nickname was pretty much I walk really far.
Oh.
Yeah.
In what language?
In Westeros. Oh, no. In English.
We'll never escape Game of Thrones.
They call it Westron, the common tongue. It's similar to Westeros, but it's not. It's Westron. Anyway.
Westron, yeah. Pastrami. Yeah.
Pastrami on rye.
Oh, and time is up on that trivia question. If you said the answer was Aragorn, you'd be correct.
And his nickname was Strider, say.
Oh.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
I'm glad I'm here to like drop these tidbits on you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's very important. God forbid I say Cirdan instead of Cirdan.
Yeah. I know. Please. Good old Finrod. So apparently elves don't have garden gnomes. That's like tacky. They just have lamps.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Not the Evil Dead.
What language is this?
We're talking about languages a lot today. Right now, he is reciting a frankly beautiful poem in Orcish, or the Black Speech, that Gandalf later recites at the Council of Elrond. I don't know if you remember that, but in Lord of the Rings 1. And this thing is also inscribed on the One Ring and written in Orcish, but using Elvish characters.
Wow.
Was that too much?
No.
No, it's good. No, but yeah. I mean, sorry, the scene was very, very intense, but that is very cool to know, being able to write in one language using the characters of another. But as you can imagine, that's not the only cool thing about the One Ring. Fans were asking you to select which of the following statements about the One Ring is not true. So, option one, it glowed when it was put in fire. Two, the gold couldn't melt. Three, the gold wasn't hot. Or four, when he threw it into Frodo's fireplace, Gandalf became tall and powerful. If you have a ring of power, you can answer telepathically, of course, or you can use the rings below to open the widget window alongside rings of power, the shell, that is.
And just to make the point again, you're picking the thing that it doesn't do.
Right.
Yes.
Because the things it does do are pretty cool, even cooler than having an inscription on it.
Mm-hmm. I've been tricked by these what is not true questions before.
Yeah. When in doubt, D. That's what I learned in my SAT class.
Oh my god.
Or C. I can't remember. No, I can't remember. Ciarán. So she's Swedish,
Okay.
Welsh, English. So she probably speaks a bunch of languages too.
Oh yeah, she's from everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah. Much like myself.
And sorry, I was just gonna say time is up on the trivia question. There you go. So of course the right answer is that the One Ring didn't make Gandalf tall and powerful. He's just like that. He's just a tall, powerful guy.
Yeah. Did you guys remember that scene where he like becomes big and tall and he says, "I am not some cheap conjurer," but that was just him just being scary.
Okay.
He was like revealing his true form, which is big and scary.
He was straightening his posture.
Yeah. So core fans know not to be resting because it's a bit of a spoiler, but in the War of the Elves and Sauron, Eregion is attacked and can I say it? Destroyed.
Say it.
Destroyed.
No. Yeah, no, I don't know why Gil-galad said to rest assured Celebrimbor and the secrets of his craft are safe, because absolutely not.
Doesn't he have Elvish foresight? No?
I guess not in this case. Unfortunately, in this attack on Eregion, there are survivors, including Elrond, and Elrond goes on to found the survivors go on to found 2 Elven cities. Fans were asking you which Elven city was founded by Elrond. You can use the widget that appears in the widget window when you go to the link in the description to type out your best guess.
This is just a points giveaway. This is an easy one.
Oh,
Everybody
this
should
is
know
the
this
easiest one.
It's
Yeah, Trish.
yeah.
Oh no, it's gonna be another one of these weeks.
So let me ask you: Did you ever read the books?
I did not.
And have you seen the Lord of the Rings movies?
I have not.
And you haven't seen The Hobbit. So this is like
Negative.
this is your first like introduction to Middle Earth.
Yes, and I have to tell you, it really has inspired me. Like, I want to read the book. Do I start with Lord of the Rings? Or do I start with The Hobbit?
I think you start with The Hobbit. It's kind of it's a little bit of a kiddie book, but it's still, it's a fun read.
That's my speed. Okay.
Relatable. If there's a book out there with words that have more than one syllable in it, I'm not interested. Keep it away. Sauron. Oh, and sorry to everyone, time was up on that trivia question. If you said Rivendell, that you'd be correct. That is the city that Elrond founds. And now that we have a little dip in the action as we come down on this majestic little town plaza, let's take a look at our leaderboard. That's right, we have a leaderboard so you can keep track of your points while you answer questions. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hop on over to playitoutbeyondtheair.com using the link in the description so you can start getting points for answering our questions and climb the leaderboard while competing against fellow fans. Yeah. What could be better?
So this is Eregion, by the way. It was gorgeous. Just like the home of Celebrimbor. But, in the canon, the originally canon, that Eregion is founded by Celebrimbor and Galadriel. But now Galadriel's, she's a younger generation, so it doesn't appear that she founded anything except a bad attitude.
Rude of the creators.
Party guest.
He's the guy who's like, play one more song. Let's go out.
So Celebrimbor here is played by Charles Edwards, and he's been in a few period dramas. You might recognize him from Downton Abbey and The Crown, that he was awesome in. But more important to us Horrorfoot fanatics, he is a gigantic Lord of the Rings fan, in real life.
Oh, he's kind of like you. Yeah, a very big fan. There you go. And I did see the interview that he did once for promoting the show. And apparently he loves Lord of the Rings so much, or he loved it so much as a child, he actually wrote a Lord of the Rings play. So for those of you playing along with us using the widget window, we included a link to this in a widget we're popping up right now.
And if you haven't opened up the play along window yet, use the links below to get that going.
Cool.
Like who's this?
William Wallace.
It's Viggo Mortensen he did some movie where he's riding a Mustang. I don't know. Viggo Mortensen is Aragorn, Trish. You know him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we've never seen anything like this in any Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
But he is in He-Man as Skeletor, apparently.
Oh.
No, just kidding.
Wait.
The guy has a face. He looks like Skeletor from the kids' cart. No.
Cameo.
I think I'm dating myself.
I'm with you.
It's like Skeletor. Who was that?
Ooh.
Oh, that explains a lot. So this guy is the Dark Wizard, and he's played by Ciarán Hinds. And he's hard to recognize behind this beard. But you may recognize him from other shows like Game of Thrones, where he was Mance Rayder, who was the leader of the Wilding Army. He was also in Harry Potter. He was Dumbledore's brother Aberforth, and other things. I mean, he's just phenomenal and very popular and busy actor.
Wow.
But I said,
that is an enviable resume, truly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, to add to that, I heard that he recently got nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for one of his film roles. Fans, we're asking you, which movie did he get this Oscar nomination for? Was it for Coda, The Banshees of Inisherin, Belfast, or Oppenheimer? We'll give you a moment to guess in the widget window, and we'll reveal the answer to all you lurkers in 30 seconds.
If the Harfoots were here, they would have a feast on all these bugs.
Hopefully when they've been cooked and not when they can feel the legs dancing down their throat.
See, check him out. You can maybe recognize him. But I gotta say this is that there's way more magic in this episode of Rings of Power than in any other Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings movie that I can think of. Usually magic is behind the scenes, but there you go.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And now that the magic is done, time's up on the trivia question. If you guessed Belfast, you'd be correct. Unfortunately, Ciarán didn't win. He actually lost to Troy Kotzer for Coda, one of the other options.
So people have been referring to her as the real Slim Shady. I didn't make that up.
Not the real Slim Shady. Will the real Slim Shady please appear out of bugs?
Yeesh.
So one more thing about Ciarán Hinds. He starred in one of my favorite TV shows ever. It was called Rome on HBO, and he played Julius Caesar, and he was so good. But amusing, side note, there's another character in Rings of Power this season, which means last episode, who also appeared in the show Rome, and he played Kieran's body servant, Posca.
Yes, I remember this question very well. Fans were asking you to guess the name of the character who appears in Rome alongside Ciarán Hinds. Type your answer in the guess widget, which you can find in the link in the description.
So, Keith, I know that you're a huge Rome head. More than Lord of the Rings?
Not quite. It's hard to, it's a lifetime commitment to Lord of the Rings.
Right.
But it really is a great show. I just tell everybody that I meet to watch it. Honestly, people are sick of me.
I don't know. You kind of inspired me a little bit. I do want to go and watch it. It could be good. And time is up on this trivia question. If you guessed Diarmid, played by Nicholas Woodson, you'd be correct.
So, first off, I think it's a hard question because they barely mentioned his name in the first season. He was the guy who was wearing the bag around his neck that had the little King of the Southland symbol on it that Harbrand then used throughout all of season 1. But the actors, Hinds and Woodson, they were together in Rome in like a zillion scenes.
Well, hopefully we'll see them together here. Yeah.
Unlikely.
Oh.
Yeah, Woodson's character, he got killed off in the last episode.
Ooh. Et tu, Brute.
Yeah, I'm sad. I'm so sad.
It's devastating, truly. So for those of you who are watching Rings of Power on Prime Video without an ad-free plan, you may see an ad coming up in a second. If you do see an ad, we're going to keep going, but you can click the sync game button below when your ad is over to get everything back in sync together. We might show an ad as well on our video. In the meanwhile, let's bring up the leaderboard, let people check in on how they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Scorpion.
Is
it me? Are there like a lot of shows going on lately that are based in the desert?
Dune.
I have noticed that too. I saw that like the Dune inspiration of this show is taken from everywhere. And in fact, I've noticed so many of these desert shows that I made a poll. Fans were asking you to name your favorite desert movie or TV show. If you're using the PlayAlong pop-up,
I like that name.
Thank you. Then you'll see poll results reflecting votes from just as long as the episode has been out between Dune, Mad Max Fury Road, Lawrence of Arabia, The Mummy, Holes, Ringo the Martian. I could go on. There's so many desert settings in movies. We're asking which is your favorite.
Well, TV and movies. Does Breaking Bad count? There's a lot of great desert scenes in Breaking Bad. Okay.
Yeah.
And it really is. Like if you love desert movies with Winnebagos, it's the second best.
Yeah. What's the first with Winnebagos?
There was a Tarantino movie called From Dawn Till Dusk. Some funny desert scenes, but it's actually not better than Breaking Bad is.
It's pretty bad.
Certainly the top 3 television shows ever made.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Okay, and time is up on that poll. Excited to see how everyone voted. I have my personal votes, but
yeah, Skeletor don't care about no rattlesnake.
No.
Pretty good knife throw.
Wow. Ooh.
That was close.
Yikes.
In last episode, they told us why he wears the mask. It's a skin condition.
Yeah.
Please, not the anvil of the sun. Nobody's going to walk across the anvil of the sun. It is written here and here. Lawrence of Arabia. See?
Oh. I actually haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you're a film lover. You're going to love it. It's crazy beautiful.
I've seen like the screenshots.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm gonna steal that. Trafficking and conjecture.
There's some great like little one bits in there. Gandalf or fake Gandalf. I don't know what his name is. I actually don't think he's Gandalf anymore, but he has a bunch of zingers.
Mm-hmm. So Keith, you were telling me that this Narvi guy who just started talking, he's very important to Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, he's a famous craftsman, like Celebrimbor, and he and Celebrimbor actually get together and they build the doors of Moria that you may remember from Lord of the Rings that they couldn't get past, and they had to say hello, friend, etc. But that's far in the future after the show. But he's the great dwarvish craftsman who puts those together and lots of other things, and he was buddies with Celebrimbor.
Wow, I didn't know the full extent of it. That's very impressive. But I'm surprised that he sort of, and not that he doesn't have a small part in the scene, but he just sort of like pops in for a line or two. Hopefully we see more of it in the future. But fans, I think we want to delve a little bit more into these doors that Narvi helps build. Specifically, we're asking you, to which Elvish kingdom do these doors featured in Lord of the Rings lead to? Yeah, that's grammatical. You can visit the link in the description, play.beyondtheair.com, to tell us your answer.
I'll give a hint. It's got two names. You know that nobody's gonna. That hint's not gonna help you. Just forget it. Just pick something that's close by. She's awesome.
Yeah.
This was actually song was suggested to me on Spotify today, so they know something.
Ah.
Is that good? All that rock crumbling?
Probably not. But it was, I mean, the singing was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like time is up on that trivia question. If you guessed that the doors of Moria led to Eregion, or Holland, as they also called in Lord of the Rings books, you'd be correct.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Stone Singers here, and it's non-canon, but like how it works is something I've been speculating on. And maybe it's a physical thing, maybe it's a magical spiritual thing, or both, but we don't know. But apparently the dwarves are using it to find the best place to dig. And in season 1, they use it to appeal to the mountain to release some miners. It's a good thing to be a stone singer, or to have one.
I mean, especially underground.
Yeah.
You know, especially in a place like Casa Doom. But luckily, that's not the only niche skill in the Lord of the Rings universe. Fans were asking you which niche skill you'd like to have in Lord of the Rings. There's stone singing, invisibility, firepower, talking to animals.
No, or werewolves.
That's a good point. Yes. There's definitely no shortage of great abilities. So vote in the play along pop-up, which you can access at the link in the description. Results appear after you vote, so let's see if everyone agrees with you. I think it's very locational.
I would like to be the eagle tamer.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. Well, because then you can get everywhere.
Oh. And everybody's like, how are we going to get there? And you go, fly, you fools.
Uber Eagle.
How are we going to get to Mount Doom? Fly.
How are we going to get to Trader Joe's? Fly, you fools.
That's what we're going to call it, You Fools Airline. So when he's saying fly, you fools, it's like, well, which airline? You Fools Airline. Fly, you fools. Fly, you fools.
Perfect. Zoraxigills. Okay, everyone. I think we have a little bit of a fun little scene here. But I think we should take a quick look at our leaderboard again. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hop on over to the description make sure to hop on over to the description to get to play.beyondtheair.com so you can start getting points for answering our questions and climb the leaderboard. Maybe beat out your fellow fans as well.
I like this. They're calling him a Nancy boy. Oh, laddie. That's what an honest man's hands look like.
You've never worked a day in your life?
I think your husband used to make fun of me for this. Trish.
Oh, sorry.
Ouch.
DTF. You just push him over?
A good shot.
Dwarves are tough, man.
Yeah. I feel like people don't like the stale bread. I'm not that offended by it. It's definitely harder to chew, but I've never been like, oh. But also, I feel like that if it's moldy, then it's no.
Ugh.
It's funny because I don't like stale bread, but I don't mind moldy bread that much. Just cut that part off.
Teach his own.
I like her. She's a good actress. Do I know her from anything else, or just this?
She's had a couple of bit parts in like a bunch of different things. She was in that Netflix show Wednesday about Wednesday Addams, and notably, this is a big deal to me as a D&D like MMORPG person. She voiced a character in a very popular video game called Baldur's Gate 3, which D&D and Lord of the Rings lovers out there, I think if you aren't already playing it, you should start playing it.
Well, I'm a big fan of Wednesday. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Produced by the great Kayla Alpert. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's very funny. It's funny. Yeah. It's fun. It's pathos. It's got it all.
Yeah.
Dance moves.
Yeah, she plays the shopkeeper in that one scene where like the very pink werewolf and her boyfriend, they like go spend the day there.
If it's got werewolves, I'm in.
Done.
So just dumb question number 57. Where are they now?
Not a dumb question. The map is super confusing, and it's part of it is because they seem to like get everywhere like really quickly. But right now the characters are in Lindon, the Elven realm where Gil-galad, or Gil-galad. I pronounce everything wrong. Lindon, the Elven realm where Gil-galad resides, and he's considered the High King of the Elves, but there are other realms and rulers as well. Celebrimbor, he rules in Region, which is pretty close to Khazad-dûm, where Durham the Third rules. But right now they're in Lindon.
Yes, that is correct. And if you're like us, I'm also getting a little lost sometimes. We're only going to add to the confusion with this next question. So we're asking you to name the elven kingdoms of Middle Earth. That's any elven realm ever. So as long as it's mentioned in Lord of the Rings canon or the Rings of Power series, it is fair game. Use the play along pop-up to type your guesses, but type quickly. If someone guesses a name before you, you can't get points for it anymore.
Don't worry about getting that name like in Elvish correct. We put a lot of alternatives in there. So whether you put it in Elvish or you put it in Common Tongue, we'll accept all those names. And there's a lot of Elvish kingdoms out there. So just take a stab at it.
Yeah. And if you haven't opened the play along pop up yet, just use the links below and fire that up.
Pop it up.
Yes.
You can pop up the play along pop up.
That's right.
Pop up.
See, he says Linden. Other people say Lindon. I think it's like a New York, New Jersey thing.
Like
Trenton.
Trenton versus Trenton.
Yeah, exactly. Some people say Trenton. Other people say Trenton.
And they are wrong.
Exactly. Them and their pork rolls. So wrong. So she's hot for Sauron?
I think a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. They always like the bad boys.
That's true. Oh, and fans, for the trivia question, a few of the answers that are acceptable are Region, Linden, Lothlorien, the Grey Havens, Gondolin, the Woodland Realm, Hithlum, Doriath, as well as, of course, their alternate names. That's like just a few of them.
Yeah, there's like a dozen more. But it's crazy in the show how quickly they do go back and forth, like I was saying. I mean, some of these are really far apart. Like Lindon to Oregion's really far away. But in the trivia question on the second page, I put a link to the map if you want to like try to really like figure out what the heck is going on. But yeah, they go.
Game
they
of
get
Thrones
there too fast.
did the same thing.
Oh yeah. No, it's like you blink. It's like I Dream of Jeannie. They blink and then they're down in King's Landing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna make this boat.
Gotta sand it.
I believe that's an ads. I wouldn't swear to it though. Whoa! Wait! Whoa! What's he doing?
He's shaving.
Do you know how long it took him to get that beard? Like 10,000 years.
Literally. I mean, he's the only elf without a beard, so that's like one of the things that he's known for gone. But luckily, fans know that Cirdan is known for something else, and his nickname. Fans were asking you what the last word in Cirdan's nickname is. That's Cirdan the blank. So not probably Cirdan the beard. Cirdan the.
Well, if it was, he needs to get a new nickname.
Yeah. There's the shipwright, there's the brave, there's the axesmith, there's the forager.
He's so cool. I mean, he's less cool now that he doesn't have a beard, but he's still pretty cool. He's got the hair. Yeah. He's got like walking around some groovy sandals. He's like, I bought
cool English teacher
in Birkenstock years ago, right after Woodstock. No. Sit down and take stock.
Wow. My God. Oh, and the trivia question is up. Fans, if you guessed Cirdan the shipwright, you'd be correct. Of course, known as that because he built and he's built and currently maintains a navy of ships to take the elves over to the seat of Valinor or Valinor.
So this is a super important scene. The whole so far this episode and last episode, a rumination on power and evil. And he seems to be saying here that if you have power, it's not necessarily good or evil. It just kind of depends on what you do with it. Because like all those fish jump out of the water, but like Sauron wasn't going to put them back, but he put him back.
Mm.
That's true. It's sort of like a Machiavellian where it's like you can either be feared or loved. It's like Sauron chooses to be feared and Cirdan chooses to be loved. Right?
Not,
Akin.
that makes it sound like it's a ploy. I don't think it is. I think he's just good. He has a good nature. He's elfy.
So it's really like being feared or loved, or just doing stuff out of the goodness.
Yeah, it comes from your essential nature.
Uh-oh. And he's down. Oh, he'll be fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
In the meantime, we're coming up upon another ad break. So all of our non-ad-free plan Amazon Prime people, we're going to just keep going. So we'll play a leaderboard in the meantime while you're watching your ads. We might have an ad on our own thing, but in the meantime, after this, you can click the sync logo button, and you will be resynced with our video.
So if they're so hungry, why don't they eat their acorns? They're walking around with food in their hair.
That'd be nuts.
Perfect. I just noticed that.
That's an elaborate well. Must be
Yeah,
Numenorian. They build all the best stuff.
Numenorians out in the desert?
Yeah, right. Doesn't sound like them. Oh.
Yeah.
Pippin.
Uh-oh.
Pippin's always doing this kind of thing. I'm sorry, Poppy.
Poppy and Pippin.
You guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just throwing water on somebody ever actually help?
If you're a plant, yeah.
Yeah, no, there are definitely, I mean, there are some plants that wouldn't even need this, as they can subsist for a while on a little water. Case in point, fans, we're asking you, what do you call a plant that is able to retain water in arid climates? Click the link in the description, playitoutbeyondtheair.com, to guess your answer, and we'll reveal the answer in 30 seconds. Trish, I think this is for you, right?
I got one. I definitely got one today. So excited.
That 100 points is just as good as knowing, the capital of Eriador.
Yes. I love it when we have random food or just everyday trivia questions. I do much better on those.
All right. If that isn't a Moses staff, I don't know what is. Because we were talking about all the biblical references.
Oh, and fans, the question is done. If you said succulent, got points. Trish,
yes.
High five.
Oh, that's very much of an eye, isn't it? I say. Actually, there's a scene in Lawrence of Arabia that's essentially the same.
Oh. Oh.
What are they doing? Oh.
So, Keith, I think you told me about this scene and how it completely changed your thought on who the stranger is. So fans, we're opening up the poll again. We're asking you, after this whirlwind of a scene, who you think the stranger is. Tell us your answer now by going to playitoutbeyondtheair.com, using the link in the description, and you'll be able to see who everyone thinks it is.
Yeah.
Keith, you changed your mind again?
Yeah, well...
Who do you think it is?
Script writers are very, very tricksy. If it was Gandalf, he'd be using fire, right? Because that's his thing. He's a fire guy, but this is a whirlwind, which is sort of weathery. And which wizard uses weather as a thing? In Lord of the Rings, maybe somebody puts snow on top of the mountains so that the Fellowship can't get over and they have to go through the mines of Moria. That's one example of him doing that. But yeah,
Okay.
it's Saruman. Saruman he has weather control. That's his thing. And there is a reference to Saruman spending time in the East, in Rune.
Oh.
As did Aragorn, but not together. And I'm not on top of the timeline totally, but I think that Gandalf is supposed to show up a little later because Wizard of Oz.
They got flung. I was not ready for that.
Oh no.
It's full of surprises, right? This is
Yeah.
the show. That's what I like.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
So if you're not in the know, I will tell you that ithildin, it's a critical plot point in one of the books, one of the canon books, where one of the characters has a map that cannot be read because it's in ithildin. That'll help.
Oh, yeah. Well, the question is, which of these books that you're talking about does that happen in? Fans were asking you that question. Go to the link in the description, play.beyondtheair.com, to type your answer. Remember, you can keep guessing until you get it right, so keep at it. Guess the whole book series if you have to.
Yeah.
Or the whole
right.
franchise.
And the Lord of the Rings is not one book. That's 3. So you got to guess all those if you think it's in there. But yeah, it's got a magic in it, and you can only see it in moonlight, and it can only be on a certain day. But how are you going to know that? It's special knowledge, and they don't know that. So they got to go find somebody who does. And that person is Elrond. So Elrond tells them, so they have to go to where Elrond lives, which is in Rivendell, in order to find out. And it's how Elrond and Bilbo meet. Is these enough hints for you guys? Trisha's like, oh yeah, I had this an hour ago.
Trisha's like, I'm an expert. What are you talking about?
It's the book that you're going to read first, Trish.
Yes. And fans, that answer is The Hobbit, of course.
Hey, look, guys, it's raining men.
Hallelujah. Oh.
He's just so transparent.
I was going to say, it's such a shame. He's so easy to take advantage of here.
It's tech guys throughout time. You just got to go, did my gadget work? Like, well, why don't you invite me in? I'll show you the QA testing results. Because we had a focus group.
It's that, and then there's one wrong wrong character in this entire 1,000 lines of code. I can show you where it is, but
where's the fun in
first?
that?
He's a man in the rain. Who can resist? Yeah. It's making me think a lot of very emotional movie and TV scenes happen in the rain, which I think I'm going to ask you all what your favorite scene that takes place in the rain is. We have a sword fight in The Seven Samurai, The Confession of Love in the Notebook, the escape attempt from Shawshank Redemption, and of course, the Battle of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. Select your favorite scene by visiting the link in the description, playitoutbeyondtheair.com, and to see links to all of these movie scenes.
You know
on
what you
YouTube.
forgot is
I have one too.
were you going to say Peter Parker and Mary Jane kissing in
Yes,
Spider-Man?
absolutely. The upside down kiss in Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
The best.
I'm ready.
We're on the same page.
Yes.
Finally.
I have to add that in now. Oh my gosh, I can't believe.
Iconic.
So I know we're saying you have to go to a website, but if you already have the widget pop-up open, or if you're playing on that version of it, then you've already got those links in front of you. Just open up the widget by clicking on the title.
True.
And if you don't have the play along pop-up window open yet, just use the link to open that up, and then you'll get all this good stuff just kind of as we're going along.
Yeah.
In fact, you can even turn off our volume and just listen to us through the transcriptions in case we're talking too much.
But then you miss my annoying laugh.
You got to give us a good hee-haw.
Not a hee-haw.
Is it that you're the master of evil?
Do you validate parking?
No kidding.
Wow.
So, well, the reason Celebrimbor gets so defensive and nervous about the rings being worn by men is that something happens to any man who wears one of the rings of power sooner than any other, race on Middle Earth.
Yeah, you told me about this. Fans were asking you if you know what happens to men when they wear one of the rings of power. Specifically, what do they become? Do they become Nazgul? Do they become dwarves, wargs, or elves? Tell us what you think the answer is by going to the link in the description. If you're on playontheair.com already, just boop, click answer.
So wargs are like they're pretty much werewolves.
Oh yes,
huge wolves with a spirit. An evil spirit.
We saw one of them in the last episode.
It's not the last you're going to see of them. And they go all the way back to The Hobbit has wargs. Lord of the Rings has wargs.
Oh.
I almost said warves, but they don't. The first warves you see are in this season, I think. But I meant wargs, the ones that are like werewolves, not warves that are like dogs.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, the answer is not wargs. If you said that men become the Nazgul, then if they wear the rings, then you'd be correct. I mean, I'd be fine with dwarves and elves, but Nazgul and wargs, I don't think I could do well with that. So I think I'm good. Just keep the rings away from me.
Could you resist? Listen, you're going to be able to like shape anybody's thoughts, but eventually you're going to turn into like a white, I don't know. Eventually you're going to be like, have an amazing compulsion to shave your beard.
No.
Cirdan. Turncoat.
Oh, okay. So before we get to this scene, it's very good. We're going to take a quick look at our leaderboard again. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can hop over to playitoutbeyondtheair.com. If you're already there, though, you can just click and you can see where you measure up to your fellow fans from across the internet.
Yeah. He's another weather controller. Like Saruman.
Scary.
I guess he controls all the elements. He's like Avatar.
Jesus?
It's a Columbia Pictures release, I think.
My God.
Ooh. Well, he wasn't lying when he said he wasn't mortal, huh?
Yeah. And for all our sakes, I'm glad that he chose to shapeshift into a man like Charles Vickers. Although I could have kept the original hair. I think he could have done the outfit change, but kept the sort of the. Anyway, fans were asking you, if you were Sauron and able to shapeshift, what would you want to shapeshift into? Select your answer between a man, a wolf, a werewolf, an elf, or an ent.
Well, I certainly wouldn't be a man. Ugh.
Yeah. Darn it. How
Be an
pedestrian.
elf.
I will say that whole like the gift of mortality, I never quite understood.
Don't you think they're gonna like figure it out when they see him? They go, "You look like familiar. You look like a guy I used to know."
You look like you're wearing a wig.
But hey, it's no secret what I would want to be. Werewolf.
Oh, of course.
A young apprentice.
Oh.
Oh.
Like Elrond Hubbard.
Oh my God.
You see, look, he gets behind the podium. He's in charge.
Oh yeah.
He's starting to look like the Lord of Rivendell that he's gonna be.
Oh yeah, he's coming into his own. And speaking of which, fans were asking you to guess the one of the two alternate names for Rivendell, which Elrond, of course, as you mentioned, goes on to found. You can type your answer and keep guessing until you guess one of the two.
Well, I think that, we already gave one away. I said Rivendell, so it's the other one.
That's true.
The
Yes,
one,
the
you know
other
what? I take it back. There is another name that's used in The Hobbit.
Oh my God.
So yeah, there's two, and they're both good.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a good ending. Very foreboding.
Oh, man.
Just is ready for more.
Yes.
Well, so first we have a couple of things to wrap up. At the end of the episode, we've made it through episode 2. So first, the answer to the trivia question we had was we have Imladris and the Last Homely House are the two possible answers. So that's one. And then we also have to look back at our prediction activity from the beginning of the episode. So today we asked you all how many languages there would be spoken in this episode, and we counted 4. There's Sindarin, there's Kenya, there's Black Speech, and there's Runish. So there you go. If you got 4.
Right.
Yes. And finally, now that we've finished all of our activities, there's one last thing to do, which is check on our leaderboard. So this episode, we got into a lot more of the lore. Like last episode, we did some BTS fun facts, and we also started to lay the groundwork for the rest of the season by referencing what we might see, as well we saw in the last episode. So if you knew all these, congratulations, and if not, I hope you're taking home some wisdom to your fellow fans.
Not only am I taking home wisdom, but I got to tell you guys, this was my favorite episode so far, for sure. Like, I'm actually super excited for the rest of the season.
I think it's a great episode. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching and playing along with us today. I mean, it was a joy as always.
Check us out on play.beyondtheair.com to play along with your favorite shows and movies, including but not limited to Rings of Power Season 1 and 2. There's plenty of other stuff to play.
Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can play along with us as each new episode, Season 2, comes out. And until then, I'm Trish here with JJ and Keith, and we can't wait to see you on TV.
Bye.